Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss the entity classification election rules. But before we dive into the topic, I want to go briefly over what is an LLC. An LLC is a limited liability company. It's a legal entity created at the state level that features both a corporation and partnership, that has the features of both. Now, what are the advantages of an LLC? What is the main advantage why people file an LLC in their state? It's the limited liability. And this is where the LL coming from, limited liability company. Owners are called members, are not personally responsible for the company's debt. So if the business is sued or owes money, your personal asset, house, car, savings are protected. Think of limited liability company as a legal shield between you and the business. And this is the main reason why people file to be an LLC. But the other reason that an LLC gives the members is the tax flexibility. And this is what we dive on into, the tax flexibility of an LLC. And this is where the entity classification election rules will come into play. So what is an LLC? First of all, it's state requirement. So you file under a state, let's say Delaware, Pennsylvania, the state that you want to file in, that's perfectly fine. But when it comes to federal taxes, you can choose how it's taxed. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com and let's build your tax foundation together. So the entity classification election rules. So we're going to now deal with how a business choose their tax classification. Are you telling me that the business can choose how they want to be taxed? And the answer is yes. How about if they don't choose? If they don't choose a default classification for a single member LLC, single members means you have one owner. For example, Farhat Lectures, as of today, there's only one owner, and that's myself. It's a single member LLC. If I don't choose anything, I am considered a disregarded entity. In other words, as far as the taxes, I don't exist as an entity. I'm a disregarded entity. Therefore, I'm treated as a sole proprietorship. Just like, what would the sole proprietorship do? They will report their income and expenses on Schedule C. And with Schedule C comes the self-employment tax if it's an active business. So, if you are a single member LLC, think of Farhat Lectures. Right now, I own the company. For a few years, I was treated as a sole proprietorship. Then at some point, I made an election. What can I elect? I can be elected to be treated as an S-Corp or a C-Corp. And at some point, I elected to be an S-Corp for tax purposes. How about if you're a multi-member LLC, MMLLC, multi-member limited liability company? How about if you don't choose anything? If you just file, you get your LLC, and you don't make an election how you want to be taxed. Great. You'll be taxed as a partnership. You file Form 1065, and you have to have an election to change this classification. So can you change your classification? Yes. Entities can choose a different tax treatment. What do? You file 8832 entity classification election, and this is the form here. And you can be taxed either as an S or as a C. So be taxed as a C corporation. If S election is made, you must file 25 53, not 8832. Whether you want to be treated as an S or a C. How do you make this determination? You have to sit with your CPA, with your lawyer, and make that determination based on your need. In the prior session, we looked at the advantages and the disadvantages, but the point here is to tell you, you have that flexibility. Special rules for disregarded entities. Again, what are disregarded entities? You choose not to, not to do anything. If a single member LLC is owned by a corporation or a partnership instead of an individual. So let's assume we have an LLC, but that LLC is formed by a corporation. What would happen in that situation? It's treated as the division of the owner. It means as the division of the corporation. So it's one part of a larger corporation. So if a big company owns a single member LLC, small company activity is reported on big company. Basically, you're part of larger corporation. Now, when can you make this election? Key limitation on election. What does that mean? It means, remember, if you don't do anything, you are as a sole proprietorship. But if you want to change, when do you have to make this change? And when would this change be effective? When you make the change, it cannot be effective more than 75 days before filing. What does that mean? It means you can backdate your election 75 days. If you sign today, you can say, I want it to take place as if I signed my paper, if I filed 70 days earlier. So let's just look at this situation. You file an election on March 15th, 2026. What's the earliest effective date allowed? You can go back 75 days. 75 days, 2.5 months. You count back 75 days. You could say, I want my election to be treated as an S corporation as of January 1st, 2026. Great. I'll tell you what happened with me. This way I can give you a little bit of a story. When I made my election, when the accountant, the CPA that supposedly helped me with this, he said he made the election. But the IRS said, we never received your election. Therefore, it was not effective. I had to file again. You can backdate 75 days. Whatever, I lost 1 full year because I thought I already filed and I'm going to be treated as an S corporation, but I lost one full year because the IRS did not receive it. You did not make that election. So although you can go back 75 days, in my situation, the IRS did not receive the paperwork. But you can go back 75 days. So you are allowed to go back 75 days. So the effective date is January 1st, 2026. So you can say, I am an S corporation as of January 1st, 2026. I will be taxed as an S corporation. Or it cannot be effective more than 12 months after filing. You can file and you can fast forward the effective date 12 months. So you file an election on March 15, 2026. What's the latest effective date allowed? You could say, starting March 15, 2027, I want to make this election. So you can say, I'm filing today, but I want it to take effect 12 months from today. So that's allowed. So effective date, January 2027. Therefore, in 2027, you will be an S corporation. You're not allowed, for example, for this to take place April 1st because it's too far into the future. So the simple idea here is you can plan ahead up to 12 months because, again, they're giving you some flexibility in tax planning. Think of it as a window, as a time window where you can go back and backdate it 75 days. If that works in your interest, that's what you want. Or you can go forward, say, I want the effective date to be such and such 12 months forward. That's what we're talking about here. There's a 5-year rule or a 5-year or a 60-month limitation. Once an entity change classification, it cannot change again for 5 years. The exception is if the entity is newly formed, the limitation does not apply if it's newly formed. But once you make that change, you have to wait for 5 years. For example, how the 5-year restriction. An LLC elected to be taxed as an S corporation January 1st, 2025. Okay, great. What happened next? Well, what happened next? The entity cannot change its classification again until January 1st, 2030. You're not allowed, for example, switching to a partnership in 2026, 2027, 2028. That's not allowed. What's allowed is after 5-year period, then you are allowed to do so. Now, why this rule exists? Obviously, because the IRS wants to, they want you to keep the same election. Constant switching, they might assume you're trying to manipulate taxes year by year. So that's why they don't want you to do that. You make an election and you have to stick with it for 5 years. In simple term, pick a method and stick with it for a while, for 5 years. Now, what could happen sometime? You're an S corporation and you lose your S corporation status, because we're going to talk about the S corporation. You have to meet certain requirement. And if you lose that requirement, that you lost your S corporation status. The point of this is you want to be an S corporation. Okay, the point is, generally speaking, the advantage is to be an S corporation. But if you choose an S corporation, you have to stick with it. But if you lost that, after choosing that, you have to wait for 5 years. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Bright Path LLC elected to be taxed as an S corporation 3 years ago. On July 1st of the current year, the company amended its operating agreement to allow preferred unit that receive disproportionate distribution compared to common stock. Voting rights remain the same for all owners. What's the tax consequences of this change? So 3 years ago, we said we want to be an S corporation. We made that election. Now notice we're not outside the 5-year period, so we cannot change. But what happened here? Now we need to know a little bit about S corporation. What do we know about S corporation? They could only have one class of stock. What happened here is we issued a new class of stock, preferred unit. What happened if you lost your S corporation status? You lost your S corporation status. Therefore, what happened is the S corporation terminates on July 1st, and the entity is taxed as an C corporation from that date forward. And from this date, they have to wait 5 years if they want to go back to S corporation. Now let's look at the other answers and we'll make a few assumptions. S election continues because voting rights are unchanged. No. Once you have a new type of unit stocks, you're out. The S corporation terminate at the end of the tax year. It terminate on July 1st immediately. The entity becomes a disregarded entity as of July 1st. No, you don't. You become a C corporation. Now, if you made a mistake, if the corporation made a mistake, honest mistake, it could happen that the lawyer or the CPA did not understand the rules. You want to contact the IRS as soon as possible and let them know so you can rectify the issue. But again, it's case-by-case situation. But this is what you need to know. But generally speaking, the correct answer for the exam is the S election is terminated and the entity is taxed as a C, and you can't go back until 5 years from July 1st of that year. Now, if you are using Farhat Lectures, you could ask AI to explain this topic if you want to, explain the correct and incorrect answer, create a similar MCQ. If you are studying for the CPA, EA exam, tax course, the best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional lectures, resources, AI exercises, AI resources. Invest in yourself, and God bless.